So here we are in Genesis 10. I'm making this video to show that women are actually created naturally, just like the males are. I know it's absurd to kind of have to say that, but we generally focus on the men because we see men being generated usually, as you can see here, but it doesn't mean that there were no females created. When those females are created, they are the seeds of their fathers. Let's just move forward. So it says this, the generations, keyword generations, of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Yafet, because that's how you generate is through men, but you still need a female to receive these men's seed. But okay, we know that they each had a wife, so when they conceived with their wives, this record is only the sons for obvious reason, but it doesn't mean that Yafet never had any daughters. But when he had his daughters, they are Yafetites, or however you want to say it. Same thing for Ham and Shem. They are the seeds of their fathers, the females too. Again, this is only documenting the sons of these three men, because the reason why is because the nations or tribes that they created are their tribes. They belong to the men. It's just that the women are carrying the men's seed, because that's how you generate. But the women are still generations themselves, because they were generated by these men and called after their father's name. We see that here. I have this color coordinated. I've obviously gone over this before, but you know, when Yafet got with his wife, and let's say when he created Yawan, which are your Greeks, your actual Greeks, Yawan gets with the daughters of these men here and creates his tribe, is named after him. But the women that he gets from these men are organically identified by the names of their father. He would get with either a Kemetic or Semitic woman. That's the way it works. And it's crazy because all of the racists that think that they got this pure blood doctrine, it's just idiotic. But anyways, this is at the reestablishing after the flood. This is post flood. So I just wanted to come here to show the preceptual understanding of how and why you have the names of these men. Ham had Cush, and etc. So Ham, this man here, his sons would get with the daughters of Yafet and Shem. It's the same thing, or else they would have just died off or been incestuous. So as we move forward, we are in the book of Numbers. We're going to hit 1 and 18. In relevant part, they assembled together, the congregation, on the first day of the second month. They declared their pedigrees, which is their tribes, after the house of their fathers. So that's, for example, when you have a Jew, well, Jew is just short for Judah, meaning Judah is your father. Okay, Jew is not a religious thing, but this concept comes from where we just left off in Genesis 10. It didn't just come from out of nowhere. Somebody felt a certain way. They knew that men created. It's just that they created using the body of a woman. They carried the seed. They deposited the seed. The woman bring forth that man's seed, which is, again, it's where you get your quote unquote last or surname from. Okay, it comes from this because you are the seed of your father. A woman cannot have her own seed. She would be actually the end of a lineage. It ends with her, because she would carry another man's seed. That's the point of this. Okay, let's get it one more time. All right, so here we are in Genesis 30 right here. So let's get some context. Let's start at 18. And Leah said, no, let's start at 17. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the fifth son. So she's bearing a man, his fifth son. Okay. This is what Leah is doing. So she's bearing him a son. She's conceiving. It says it again. It says it again. It says, and Leah conceived again and bare Jacob a sixth son. But this is the punchline. So right here in verse, you see it 21. Afterwards, she bare a daughter. The name is Dinah. So she bare Jacob a daughter, Dinah. So because this is a female, it's just, she doesn't matter. No, she's still generated. She's still created from the seed of her father, just like the males we saw in Genesis chapter 10. She's still created. She's the end of the seed line because she has a womb, but nonetheless, she still counts as being a generation because she was generated. It's not men only create men. It's just you have a record of men being created. Why? Because they're going to be doing some creating with the emphasis that the creations they create is going to be called after them. It's a tribal thing. The name is going to be carried by the father, who is the generating top tier of that tribe. That's why here you have this man whose name is changed to Israel. This Israel is being created, these Israelites, because that's who their father is when he gets his name changed. So right, for now it's still Jacob, but Jacob produced a daughter who is still produced. She's still generated. Okay, let's move forward. Now here we are in Matthew. A lot of us are familiar with this because it's in people's favorite testament. So the point of this is to show, again, this is the generations again. So we're going to see, and I'm coming here because a lot of people in the Israelite world, simply because they see a list of, men's names, they think that only men are able to be created. But that's not the case. So let me start down here in verse 17. It says, you have 14 generations from Abraham to David. Right here in this color, it says from David to going into Babylon, you have 14 generations. And right here it says from Babylon to Christ, you have another 14 generations. So if you have the Israelite understanding that only men, because you see men here that apparently only men can be created, this would be wrong. Because created just means generated, as we've already uncovered. So this word right here is a mistranslation. It really means father. When this is father, this is correct. This being husband makes this incorrect. This is a mistranslation. If this is truly husband like people think, then this would be 13, as you see. If this is father, she's 13, he's 14, which would make this correct. I know but I know in the camp community you're taught not to think and to disregard probably even numbering this, but you have to put the word first at a certain point in your life. Yes, you can be taught something, but that teaching might just be wrong. So the book has it. See it for yourself. Count them out and see. We all know how to count. Why not just do it? Again, unless you just value what somebody tells you instead of using your own common sense. But the point is counting Mary as 13 when this is correct at being father. You see, Jacob begat Joseph. Joseph, you see, is number 12. If Joseph is the husband, as you see here, which is mistranslated, you would then have to skip past Mary, because you're thinking only males can be generated. But 12 would then make the child 13. This right here to Christ is incorrect. When you have the father, Joseph being the father of Mary, obviously Mary would be 13. It would go it would go 12. She would be 13. She would be 13. Then he would be 14. Then this would be correct. Also, we know that a man, let's pretend this is truly the husband of Joseph. Let's pretend this is truly the husband of Joseph. How is it that a man can go back to two different men? Meaning, for example, we know that Judah is the son of Jacob, an Israelite. How could Judah be a son of both Esau and Jacob? It's physically impossible. Use the same common sense and apply it to this chapter in Luke chapter 3. This chapter is the descendants of Solomon. Luke 3 are the descendants of Nathan. That being said, it just is wrong. People are going putting so much weight on this mistranslated word of husband.
When you believe in magic.
You would have to believe in magic to think that a man could have literally two fathers. Paternal fathers, let me be clear. Moving on, so I want to highlight this. None of these men that you see right here, none of these men have the ability to do this, unless you believe in magic. Mary, who was born so-called Jesus. So-called Jesus. So Mary is with child right here. None of these men that you focus on have the ability to do this. This is just showing she's the 14th generation. Not that she's carrying seed like a man. That's what you Negroes think. It even said it at the top. That's why I highlighted that. Generations. When it gets to this level, it's showing she's generated. She's number 13. He's number 14. Unless you believe in the mistranslated word, which would make him 13. Thereby, again, making this incorrect. Another thing here is that only Mary would have the ability to do this, being number 13. This connects with Revelation chapter 12. So here we are in Revelation 12 once again. I've been coming here a lot lately, but going back and connecting this to Matthew chapter 1. No man can do this. There appeared a great wonder in heaven. You have a woman, not a man, okay? Clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, representing the nation of Israel. Israel named after their generator, Israel, aka Jacob. She being with child, cried, travailing in birth. No man has the ability to do this, remember. So what we see here is a spiritual understanding of Mary bringing forth so-called Jesus, okay? So-called. No man has the ability to bring forth a child into the world. It's impossible. This is the spiritual connection to the physical connection of Mary being the 13th generation, bringing forth the 14th generation. You got to go there before you come here. When you drop down to verse 5, she brought forth a man child. No man can bring forth a man child. That's an irrelevant part. Mary's essentially doing this. No man, again, she's generation number 13 because she's generated. Unless you believe in magic.
When you believe in magic.
A lot of people don't know it and don't realize. They just don't think. They just watch YouTube and regurgitate. You have to believe in magic to believe a lot of what gets taught. No man has it's impossible. It's just that man child that she's bringing forth would be the seed of his father. But that's different. But she's still the seed of her father, making her in connection with the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 stars. So here we are back in Matthew. It's just restating Revelation chapter 12. Generation number 13 here. She is now bringing forth generation number 14, showing this to be true. This is literally father and not husband. No man can bring forth a child into existence. Only the seed of a woman can do that. That woman got the seed from her man. But she's still a generation. That's the point. We have to stop ignoring. You can't do the magical, let's ignore this. When you ignore something, you then make this wrong. Then you have to justify how this is wrong because you obviously don't believe in it. Because you're saying this is a husband. Simply because it says husband, it's a mistranslation. You have to put the importance on the fact that she's a generation. The fact, again, a female is the end of a generation. This is the end of a generation. She's bringing forth a male child, just like we saw in the book of Revelation. Next generation, right here. Women have an importance in generations, whether you want to believe it or not. It's just not called after them, because they're bringing forth a man seed. But that's all I have for now, as it is written, and I'm out.